Are we good? Beautiful morning on the bumper breakfast today. I'm so glad to be here with you. And it's a Friday morning, so we usually say TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And on today's show, of course, my name is Tomisin. For those who are just watching, do I need to tell you my name? Okay, my name is Tomisin. And of course, I'm here again every Friday. You know, I'm usually here with Dr. Precious, and we're talking about the headlines that made it to the front page of the papers. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, and I see that the spirits ministered to you overnight.
So we're back. We're
Okay.
back.
Okay, we're back with a bang. Yeah, I particularly like that.
And good morning, Nigerians. What a beautiful week this has been.
Yeah, beautiful week it has been as well. It's been a long one. Flooding has been the major issue all around town and has gotten to expose some of the biggest issues that we have. And today, starting the headlines with us, because we're just looking straight into the headlines, is Azeem, Salako, Oladimeji. Remember we had Salako just yesterday, and Azeem was talking to us about, we're discussing some of these general issues yesterday, ranging from the resumption of schools down to PHCN and all of that. And just as we decided that we're going to be focusing on our community report and the headlines for today. So Azeem, good morning.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Azeem is representing the Awori men on my set this morning.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, Dr. Precious also has a stake in that area.
Oh, that's
so
great.
I've been harassing him for quite a while that we're going to be talking about this, but I'm sure that he can tell you how many shocks he has changed in his vehicle, how many times he has gone to the mechanic simply because of the state of that.
How about to even change the vehicle?
Oh, no, that's the other one. How many times he has had to change the vehicle?
Change the vehicle.
Altogether, simply because of the state of the roads that we're going to be discussing this morning. So it's going to be a well-rounded conversation from somebody who has a stake in it, and of course from yours truly, who just cares about Nigerians. All right, the front page of the papers this morning, The Guardian starts out with more operators quit $7 billion e-commerce sector. How poor logistics, infrastructure distrust hinder players, fake products, bad customer service worry consumers, and Ghana beats Nigeria on the global average spending. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo presides over the virtual National Economic Council meeting at the State House in Abuja just yesterday. You have a picture of that on the front page of The Guardian. As refused as U.S. plans to deport 16,000 Nigerian students, knocks federal government over neglect of the education system, says years of agitation for improved sector vindicated. And you have federal government dealt ultimatum to reverse the indefinite closure of schools. Nigeria develops COVID-19 test kit, outcome of Madagascar and organics out soon. And you have INEC declares no face mask, no voting in Udo or Edo over elections. So let's talk. I think I'm going to throw this one first of all to Dr. Precious. ASU is fuming as the U.S. plans to deport 16,000 Nigerian students.
Wow.
Now, they're knocking the federal government over the neglect of the education system, as they said that years of agitation for improved sector is vindicated.
That's touching. You know, if the educational system in Nigeria is palatable, I don't think people will go out to study. And then,
Sure.
yeah, I'm very sure. And then the point is this: one of the biggest challenges we have is that most Nigerians want to go study abroad. Take for instance my friends who studied medicine in Ukraine. They have not been allowed to practice in Nigeria because of one or two issues. So at the end of the day, you can simply see the disadvantage.
Now let me ask you a question. I studied medicine in Ukraine. Why did I come back to Nigeria?
No, see, let me tell you
Who
something.
sponsored their education? Parents or the
Parents.
system?
Parents.
So why
No
did they come back?
system will sponsor you.
No, there's a system. Like I have a little girl in my church who won the federal government scholarship
Scheme. Okay, now
a long time ago.
it's very rare.
She studied in Ukraine. I think.
You hear about one in maybe a million cases, and sometimes we hear it's by connection. Some people are just engraced and privileged to get that.
In this case, that was
Yes.
the girl's.
So at the end of the day, see, some people need to understand that there are places around the world where you don't just go to work, you go there to gain knowledge. And when you're done, you have to leave. Let me shock you. Ukraine will not give you another month's stay after your student pass expires. They won't give you. They won't renew it. Unless there is a reason for keeping you back. Let's say you are exceptionally good at what you do, then they retain you. But I'm drawn back to what came on my phone yesterday from Kenya. You see, the government of Kenya has put a system in place which I really think the Nigerian government should absorb for the educational sector. So when you have students graduate,
yes,
they pick from amongst those students and they shortlist them for interview.
Okay.
And they go through them and absorb them in the government system. So I have a list on my phone of almost 100 lawyers who were called to bar last year, and they've been shortlisted for interview this year from the 30th of July. So at the end of the day, they pick the best, they pick the ones who are very zealous and who are qualified, and then they absorb them in the system.
So reduces the unemployment rate.
So the value of going to...
But just a small fraction.
Yeah, so the value of studying will be harnessed, and especially studying at home. People want to study more at home because they know the government is going to take their opportunity to absorb them. So you coming from outside, you're going to work extra hard. But when that is not in place, people will keep going out.
But Azeem, let me take this up with you again. The United States is just a destination of choice when it comes to educational tourism. Same with Europe. I remember that the Chancellor, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, when she visited Nigeria before President Muhammad Buhari's re-election, was talking about encouraging, educational tourism, that Nigerian students are welcome in Germany to come study. Now, if that has been put in place, it's something they do in China. You see a lot of Chinese studying in the US, go back. I see a lot of Indians study outside and then go back. It's just normal that people like to go study. The idea is, let me take what they have, extra knowledge, and take it back home. Why then would the US be planning, because of coronavirus, in quotes, to deport students internationally, over 1.9 million students, simply because coronavirus came and disrupted the educational system? So they're saying, if you are on an online, or if your school goes fully online, you don't need to be here. You can just go back home and go study.
Yeah, I think I want to agree with the United States of America because we are in the new normal, and then the education system should not be left out. I think what we should begin to do as a country in Nigeria is also to buy into that knowledge. We've been talking about open distance learning education. I'm perhaps an advocate of open distance learning education, which we need to begin to look into in Nigeria. For me, I think the idea of conventional classroom educational system should be reviewed, and then we need to begin to look into how we can implement and enforce, if partially, some mechanisms of open distance learning education in Nigeria, except for some very peculiar courses like medicine, like some of the engineering courses, practical experiments. I do not think there is no course that cannot be run online. That is my perspective, and I hold that strongly. In the University of Ibadan, which I represent, we run a dual mode of education system, the full-time and then the open distance learning. And then you find out that the open distance learning has more students, than
because they are working and schooling.
Yeah, because they are working and schooling, and then you find out that you have more students on scholarship even in the open distance learning education, and then you have more students, you have more resources to generate from the university. So you are just trying to use the open distance learning as a source of revenue,
yes,
to run the university.
Maybe
But
university.
if I may come in, I really do not agree that they should be deported right now. I feel the government, the U.S. government, should manage the crisis, because let's be honest, if your younger brother is in the U.S. right now, all you've said is perfect. But if your brother is in the U.S. and you spend so much to send him there, would you be happy to hear he's being deported to come study from home?
I don't think he's been deported.
That's the word.
I would not agree with
With the language, because I see that
just
as a kind
report. This is just a language
racial
of reporting.
statement.
I would not agree.
But that's exactly what the United States. Okay, so the actual report, if I may read the full report to both of you. The actual report from the United States, I don't want to paraphrase because I know I have it somewhere, just simply said that students in the United States of America who are there to study as at now, who do not, whose system or whose school goes to the full-blown online education would have to leave. That's what the United States government said. Would have to leave. Once you know that your school has gone fully online, then you have to leave. That's what they said.
Now, have you put it? Did they put into cognizance the amount of money that has been spent to get there?
No, but I think that if just like it is.
Yes, exactly. So I have it here. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement said affected students would face immigration consequences, including deportation, if they fail to comply.
Can you imagine? It's wrong.
Now, the US
if
government-
they fail to comply.
Now, what they're saying is, foreign students will not be allowed to remain in the country if their institutions move classes fully online. Now, it however gave those concerned the option of transferring to another school with in-person instruction. So if you were in Harvard and Harvard goes fully online, you may need to go to Columbia State.
Columbia State.
Okay.
If Columbia State accepts in-person.
Okay.
But if Harvard says, you know what, all our humanity courses are now going to be taken fully online. All humanity students from international parts of, from other parts of the world would have to leave.
So, Tomisin,
If you need the Harvard certificate, which is exactly what is going to happen here.
Yes.
Because the
You
reason
want
why
it.
you have applied to universities, sometimes the sentiment of university of choice
comes in.
Comes in, exactly.
So I go to Columbia State because I have alumni from Columbia State. I have vested interest. I go to Harvard. I want to go to any university in the world. Now I go there because I have interest.
Yeah.
If you now tell me to change school to University of Florida,
It messes things up.
Yeah, it messes.
it messes my plans up. It messes
But,
things up for
but
me.
Tomisin, this is my point. Why would the American government not allow them to finish? Say, okay, after this tenure, we are not going to admit anymore. We have given
For
them
courses that are
admission.
online.
You see, when you give an
And
admission,
they paid, you know what
they
they said?
paid.
They paid for full time. And they're going, so which means the next school fees they're going to pay may have to be reviewed because now it's going to be online based
Yeah.
courses.
Yeah.
But for parents who possibly wouldn't want their children to come back home, they'll start scrambling for other universities, which I'm sure are going to be very few.
But the
Yes.
question is, why
right now with the racial
Prejudice.
signature everywhere,
the question
it's going to
is,
be an issue.
why would parents not want their children back home? Hence, the reason why they are there is majorly and primarily education, and this education has been absorbed, into the online platform. You can have access. See, every country, including America, that has been hit so hard, they are trying to manage the situation. And I think the orientation, most particularly of Donald Trump, is put the interest of America first. So every country, just like in Nigeria, we have the Nigeria federal government has also stopped their own citizens from participating in the coming WAHEC. So different countries are
Responding
approaching
the pandemic differently. And then we must understand that this is a novelty, and then policy somersault is bound to happen. People will begin to explore different strategies, strange, not believable, tested, trial and error, and all of that. These are all of those things that characterizes a novelty
Which we have now.
that we are having now. But I want to submit that the United States of America has, taken the bold step. Nothing, since they are there for education, and the education has been, absorbed online, I don't think there is a need for them to stay. Let them come back home.
Well,
and increase our population.
I would say conclusively on this matter, I have been privileged to do some communications by GLS, and I have gone to regular university. I can tell you they are not the same. Studying at home online can never be compared to studying in the four walls of a school.
But for me, I think studying online is far better than,
because you want to make money out of it.
No. It's not just about the money, because you cannot compare students, because studying online would mean self-supervision, self-learning, self-training.
How many students are disciplined to have self-learning, self-training? You want to stand up when you like.
This conversation.
You want to eat when you like. You want to sleep when you like.
This conversation is going to continue again.
The platform.
I need to give you people a platform to have this debate on Instagram or maybe Facebook, and then I'll be the anchor of that particular word. But really, we need to move
on the punch.
Yes,
on the punch this morning. Nigeria has developed COVID-19 test kits, says federal government. Afenifere demands ministers sacking for stopping school resumption. That's shocking there. No going back on petrol subsidy removal. When this subsidy was removed, I didn't know that the fuel stations have adjusted. So I went to a fuel station and I was like, fill my tank. I filled it a day before. 2 days later, I was trying to go to the same mobile and do the same thing. And when they were done, I saw the figures had gone up. I've never used that figure. So I was like, I thought you have fuel and you're selling at the normal price. He said, no, we've adjusted immediately. And I was shocked. So when there is a reduction, now this is my point, when there's a reduction in price, they don't adjust immediately. But when there's a surge in price, they adjust immediately.
How many of us bought fuel at 123 naira when it was reduced during the lockdown?
I bought.
Oh, you bought at 123?
Yes.
Every single liter I bought was at 145. And somewhere along Alausai, Keja, axis here.
Because they know you are rich.
So funny. No, so funny. When you're done, I keep looking at the pump, and I'm like, is that 145? Is that, madam? We have not corrected our own.
Let me tell you something, Tomisin.
They've not implemented. I'm like, you're talking to me, I'm a journalist. I know it is.
Tomisin, when I came back to Nigeria, first, I don't look at the pump. I just tell them, sure, fill the tank, and then I go. Then somebody told me one day and said, you don't check the price. It's different. It's supposed to be this and not this. Where I'm coming from, fuel is 160 per liter. They don't have fuel. So when I see 145, I feel I'm saving. It's cheaper. Unknown to me that the price had changed. So when someone told me, I became cautious. Let's move on. No going back. We pray they go back.
Really?
Panel questions EFCC chief as Magu's probe and detention continues. Magu attempted to probe NSA for alleged financial crime stopped by Malami. Lawyer files application for suspended anti-graft agency boss release today. I am planning vigorous defense to free hush puppy, U.S. lawyer. Let's see how far it goes. Family laments son's disappearance for 8 years after police arrest. Ondo Assembly asks CJ to constitute deputy governor's impeachment panel. And on the high point there, we have the picture of 103 suspects paraded for cultism, robbery, and others in Ogun State.
The Commissioner of Police in Ogun State has been doing a lot of parading. I think I'm going to pay him a visit very soon. I'm talking about Mr. Kenecha Brimson, CP Kenecha Brimson. He's been doing a lot of parade.
But
Ogun State seems to be on the forefront of getting kidnapping. And I know that the baby factory thing used to thrive a lot there. Kidnapping of children used to thrive a lot. And in recent times, they keep parading people, picking people from the streets and all of that. And I think somewhat we've not heard so much of crime in that access for a while. I'm trying to see exactly.
Tomisin, he's doing well, but
Are they adopting
have you gone to
a
Twitter
model?
this morning on this issue?
No, I haven't.
Now, on Twitter this morning, there are reactions. People are saying when you catch the common people on the street, suspected this and that, you parade them and you put them on the papers. You put them on TV.
No,
but when you catch the big
journalists put them on
fish,
the papers.
okay, when you catch
We
the
put
big
them on the
fish,
papers.
the big league, you don't parade them. So you see what they are doing to Mago? They are helping. Did you see the Photoshop? They put a hush puppy cloth, put his face there, and then parade him.
Because it was in court. There is a difference between investigating somebody and I caught a criminal.
And also,
There are two
it's
different
also
things.
important we recognize that until someone is sentenced or tried in a court, is
You don't
not
know.
guilty.
Guilty, not guilty until proven otherwise. That's what the law says,
Yeah.
actually. Not guilty until proven otherwise. Let's quickly run through the nation because I think some of the stories here on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, EFCC Secretary Directors appear before the pro panel, still all about Magu, Ondo Deputy Governor's impeachment, still all about that. Afenifere parents, proprietors and ANCOP's kick, still on the same matter. We have Lebanese envoy walks out on the reps yesterday. Police arrest 7 for multiple bank robberies, murder in Undo and Ekiti. NIPOS to lose 15,000 jobs as workers threaten strike. That's also there. NMPC increases gas supply to power sector by 19%. That's also there from page story. Government cake against imposition of health hazard allowance of states. And so many other stories there. But the highlight for me is President Muhammad Buhari is to sign the revised 10.8 trillion 2020 budget. That's
Okay,
the headline.
on the nations this morning, NEC OK's governor's input in 2.3 trillion stimulus plan. And on the high point there, Edo 2020, Eze Yamu, my agenda will transform Edo State. PDP knocks APC over rigging allegation. And then on the high point, Magu battles for bail as EFCC chief face panel. 4 billion naira allegation. Osibajo demands probe. 16 top officials before Salami committee. That's a shocking one there. Abdul Salami, EFCC never searched my house. 7 held for Ekiti, Ondo bank robberies. And finally there, Lagos alerts residents to looming flood.
All right, we have so many stories we'd like to look at, but I'd like to take that one on flood because we're in the rainy season, and somebody did send me a video yesterday of how they are faring around some of the estates around Lagos, and this is quite shocking. But let's take a look. In our community report today, we're focusing on the community, and this one is in Ogun State. I've said I've moved. Basically, I've just moved from Lagos to Ekiti. If you're in Lagos and your environment is flooded or usually gets flooded, your canal is blocked, your drainages are blocked, kindly send us pictures and videos of that community. Report yourself to us on 08064738133. Let's talk about your predicament and we draw attention of government to it. But we're focusing today on Ogun State. And the community we're focusing on is the Sango Ota axis of Ogun State. Let's take a look at some of the videos that we have from there right after this break. Welcome back. It's still the Bumper Breakfast Show, and right about now we're focusing on Ota. Like I said, we have the videos. The videos can just keep rolling. I drove past this area, I think for the first time a couple of months ago, and then I had to have been on that road consistently to see exactly what people have been passing through. Kayode, for the community report, of course, the man of the forgotten ones, has been trying as much as possible to get us to visit, and finally we decided to pay a visit to the situation, to that area, to just see exactly what they're going through. And I must tell you that the state of the road is appalling. Azeem, how has that road been? I know that you've not been a Lagosian for a while, but since the pandemic, you've had to be there.
Yeah.
How have you enjoyed your stay?
In Lagos. In Ota.
Flying down.
Ota, yeah.
Unfortunately, Ota presently now is a failed community. Yeah, that's what it is.
Did you just call it a field?
Yes,
Yes, I agree with him.
That's what it is. Ota presently at the moment.
Ota is the economic hub of Ogun State.
It is a failed state. It's a failed community.
Because of the road network.
Because of the road network.
It's messed up.
Messed up, deplorable. It is failed. It is not a bad road. They are failed roads. You cannot, move from one place, from a junction to another, without, seeing a death trap. The roads there are just messed up. They are failed roads. The community now looks like a village.
Ota.
Yeah.
Let me, if I may comment. I was driving to the office one of those days on this Wemco road, and there was a heavy downpour, and the water got to the top, almost the mid of the car, okay, past the door, almost to the mid. It was terrible. But can I shock you, dear? In less than 1 hour after the rain, the drainage took care of it.
Okay.
There is no drainage system in Ota. If you go through the back, a Lower Wella road, that road used to be very bad.
Yeah.
But when they started constructing the road, they started with the drainage system, thanks to Lagos State government.
Lagos State government, okay.
And then when they were done with the drainage system, they went and did the road. You will never find flood on that road anymore. The biggest challenge of the Sango Ota axis is that there is no drainage system. Move all the way from the toll gate to the police station to under the bridge. It's an eyesore. That's why I support him when he says it's a failed state. The government comes in, they concentrate on Abeokuta. They do nothing in Sango Ota. So Sango Ota is dilapidating by the day. When I got to Ota, when Covenant University moved to Canaanland, when Covenant University was established in Canaanland, Gateway Hotel used to be the favorite.
Yeah.
We have our meetings in Gateway Hotel. But right now, where's Gateway Hotel?
During the time of Okunba Daniel,
It's trashed.
sold.
So what's there right now?
Privatized.
Private.
No, it's even
And
not
now-
functional. There
and
are
now-
debts in front of it.
Non-existent.
Non-existent.
There are debts in front of it. So the only thing you see there is the shop right. But the road is an eyesore. You can spend between AMJ bus stop just before the toll gate, you can spend nothing less than 2 hours to cross the toll gate due to bad roads. So most of the times I prefer to turn and go past AIT, then go through the back road and spend almost 50 minutes more than waiting in that traffic and spend almost 2 hours because of bad road.
That is even, the Sango axis.
Now this is Ota itself.
This is Ota.
Now that's from Sango. Once you leave Sango and you're moving towards Covenant University.
Yeah, you move.
Yeah, Ijiroko Road.
Ijiroko Road.
That's why I came through this morning. It's messed up.
The road, I don't want to call it a road because there is nothing there.
Okay, it's a passage.
No, this is it. This is it. In Lagos, there are potholes on some roads.
Yes.
But in Ogun State, there are holes in the pothole.
Holes in the
Ota. There are holes in the pothole. And these are
You can
dead
imagine.
traps.
You can imagine what you see. This community that we are seeing on the screen is the industrial concentration
of the state.
The state.
Do you know how many companies are on that road? And they get revenue from all of them. Honda is on that road. Indomie is on that road. Nestle is on that road. Winners Chapel is on that road. Okay. But we have
Covenant
all those
University.
covenants is on that road.
Yeah.
So we have
So you
very
have a private
mighty.
university on the same road.
Yes.
Yes,
Just Right is there. Remember?
Just Right is there.
we have so many
Just Right is
companies
just
on that
beside.
road.
It's just beside Indomie.
Yes, and a whole lot of banks. It's an industrial road.
So why would you have an industrialized area that has
And
been
don't forget
abandoned by
the high point of that place. Obasanjo is there,
Basanjo
Yeah,
farm?
that is the home
the home of the
of the
ex-president.
former president of Nigeria.
So,
And then to shock you, that is also the home of the current deputy governor of the state.
of the state
Yeah, that's the home of the current deputy governor of the state.
of Ogun State.
But I don't. But you know, she doesn't come home. You know,
Nobody's painful. It's painful.
because if she's coming home, she should.
Maybe she will use helicopter.
have you ever asked yourself? Have you ever asked yourself why is it that Babangida's people have never stood up against him? Have you ever heard about anything like that? Go check his place. I visited the north. The roads are impeccable. The roads are perfect. From his house, you see beautiful road network. But here in the
think that's in
west,
Mina.
yes, in Mina. But
was
here in the
in Mina a
west,
couple of years
we see
ago.
people in power. They have little or no idea. Now, if you say somebody is not advising you well, or your special advisor is not doing a good job, what about the one you can see? Your immediate environment.
No, but the question is this: when Otumba Gbenga Daniel was there, was
Yeah.
when that Sango Bridge was constructed.
Yes.
That
Yeah, that was
flyover.
when-
That
Yeah,
flyover.
that's when it was
The
commenced. Okay.
Now that flyover.
Yeah.
That was it. I remember that I still went to water during that period when it was commissioned by the then former president. Now, whose home is in this area? We're talking about former president
Olusegun
Obasanjo. I was there to cover the event.
Tomisin, if you tell us you have awarded the contract, then somebody should follow up.
Has it been awarded?
It has not, but if someone wants to come up and say, okay, it has been awarded, then follow up. Did you see what Raila Odinga said? The one-time prime minister of Kenya.
Yes.
He came up and said when it has to do with road construction in some other parts of the world, he said you hear the politicians say things like, this is my house, and I was given a contract to build that road. 90% of the money I was given is on that road. 10% built my house, and everybody will smile. He said, but when he got to Nigeria, he said he found out that the politicians in Nigeria told him, that's the road I was told to construct. This is my palace. 100% of the money I was given to construct that road is what I used in constructing my palace. Forget about the road. We'll take a chopper.
Simply because he was just insinuating that the people who are given some of these contracts never execute it. They take the money and they don't fulfill
And
it.
that was after his visit to Obasanjo farm, because he came
To the same Ota Road.
to the same
Yeah.
Ota road.
Oh, I can imagine where that idea is coming
Let me quickly draw your attention to something. Now, just 2 weeks ago, Segun Showunmi,
The spokesperson for
the
Atiku.
spokesperson for Atiku, was writing to the state governor that he should try as much as possible to complete the airport project in Abeokuta. Now, I begin to imagine what informs having an airport
in Abeokuta.
in Abeokuta.
When we are close to Lagos.
When you have the Ota that has a proximity with Lagos, where you have Ota, where you have the industries, where you have Ota that is the border town, because it's the border town to
Between Lagos and Ogun.
between Nigeria and Benin
Yes,
Benin
Republic.
Republic
Yes.
on the other side.
On the other side is an
Correct.
ECOWAS road.
You're
Yes.
correct.
Where you have Covenant University.
Sir,
where
don't even go
where
there. You see that border
where you-
area is a no-go area to connect Badagry.
When you have
It's
all of this.
terrible.
So then I begin to imagine, who are those that use an airport, if not investors
And businessmen.
and businessmen? So
They
what
want
do
to
you-
escape the road.
what
so
do you
and I
have?
can
What
keep-
do you have in Abeokuta except the civil servant
And can I shock you, sir?
Let's
And-
Tomisin.
and
And the market.
Tomisin,
and the
but
market?
you've been-
Are
you've
they
been
the
in
one that
Abeokuta.
will be?
Even the
will be
streets
using-
are tired.
Yes.
Yeah,
Spirit is
close.
attached.
In Abeokuta.
Yes.
Because that was exactly what the former governor, the new senator in charge of representing Abeokuta right now in the Senate, I'm talking about Senator Bikula Musu.
Yeah.
That was what they focused on.
That was
I
what
saw
they focused on.
flyovers in places I've never seen before, the Toku, the Shakwa.
You see a very narrow street.
In the whole
very
of
good road.
in the whole of Ota, we don't have
A single
a single bridge.
Third road. Let's start with third road. You can't have a bridge now.
with a bad road.
How can
the
you have
road
a bridge
network
when you
is
don't
messed
have
up. Now let me shock you,
You don't
sir.
have drainage,
Right
you don't
now,
have bridge.
Tomisin,
Bridge where?
Tomisin,
To leave the
Tomisin,
Obas Palace.
when you're coming from Winners, by the time you get to Obasanjo Junction right now, the Obasanjo Farm Junction, where there's a police station, that place is a forgotten area. You can spend close to 3 hours just from there to Ojuri. It's so bad right now. So the last time I went to Covenant on 3 occasions, we had to negotiate a bend and go through the back road and come out at Iloawela. So we went in as if we were going to the farm and then take those bad routes, those red sand routes, all the way to Iloawela, which takes more time just to beat the traffic. The road is dilapidated. And I just wonder what a governor, a sitting governor, will be doing in the office with nobody to inform him about the state
His
of
deputy governor is from the
The
community.
deputy governor is from the
It's sad.
community.
It's sad, very sad.
His deputy governor is from the community, so there is no other person.
And there's
that
nothing
should draw his
like,
attention.
you see,
It's
if
the governor.
The majority leader of the House of Assembly of the state is from the community.
And it's so
what are we-
sad.
so
Now,
what are we talking
have you ever heard of places like Johnson Market, places like Orile Iloye? It's a no-go area. I saw somewhere in Orile Iloye where there is a gorge. It's like a borrowed pit. There are people who live in the gorge. So when it rains, it literally carries their property. So
This should be Ojuri.
they start scrambling for their things. It carries things away. And people still try to survive. The road network is bad. And when it's time for election, this is funny. They come there to canvass for votes and tell them, we're going to do your road. We'll do the road from Jebe all the way to Dalimo. We'll do the road for you from Johnson Market all the way to the bridge, Sango Bridge. But you don't see anything.
We spoke with one of the high chiefs in that community, and we had a conversation, a well-rounded conversation with him. I'd like to listen to his perspective to this, because for someone who has been in that community, has watched government upon government come there, you know, I'm sure that it will give us a better perspective as to what will happen, what should be happening, you know, in that community. If my control room can give us that interview now, I'll be very glad.
Thank you for having me. My name is I Chief Olanrewaju Basharun, Seriki of Ota Awori Kingdom. Well, let me start by saying we have a very big problem in terms of infrastructure in Ota. You see, an area that has been neglected for over 12, 13 years. You cannot expect to even have any meaningful infrastructure. And you know, even before the 8, 13, 10 years that we are talking about, there was nothing on ground. So now to talk about the neglect for all those years, I'm sure you can even imagine what is left. The problem with us is people are not looking at Ota the way it should be looked at, the way they should see Ota. Apart from Ota being part of Ogun State, Ota happens to be the industrial nerve of Ogun State. Ota is arguably the second largest concentration of industry in southwest of Nigeria. Now, if we believe this is an industrial nerve of a state, I believe if you're not paying attention to Ota because of the people of Ota, what about because of the industries? You know, I think people need to look at Ota, or the government need to look at Ota in terms of the industry and the economical value of whatever they want to come and do in Ota. Lately, we can tell you that there is no more road in Ota. Whether we are talking about federal road, state road, local government road, nothing. Let me first of all say we really appreciate the administration of His Excellency Governor Dapo Abiodun and Engineer Noimot Salako. Immediately they came to power, one of the first road they did was the OC Ikola Road to AIT Junction and the Ikola Road to Obasanjo Bridge, all in OC. But before you can get to that road, there are some roads that you need to pass through. The Ikola Road is there. But how can we get to that Ikola Road now? There is no more road. You see, the situation is now so bad that we had a meeting recently with all these industries. And what they could deduce from what is happening is maybe there is a systematic decision to frustrate them out of this area. I do understand whereby we have a concentration of all these industries. If you look around, most of these major industries are here. We have the likes of Sonar Breweries, IDL, all the major industries are here in this axis. In Sango Ota Industrial Estate. You understand? And how will they now evacuate all their products if there is no road? Dangote is coming from Ibeshe, he will have to pass through Ota. One of the earliest visits of the governor to Ota was to come and see the point of an inferno that happens here because of bad road. And the governor came, saw the state of the road. He was so sorry for us. He went and see all the victims in the hospital. He could not even hold his emotions. He had to tell his people to evacuate all those people to an hospital in Lagos on his own bill. That shows you the extent of the decay in Ota. No road, no social amenity, no hospital, no nothing. And we call this place Ota Industrial Estate, the biggest revenue generation area in Ogun State. So what can we show for it? Is it that there is something that their worried people have done to deserve all this kind of situation? Now look, we are talking about no road. No road for the industries to take all the products to the market in Lagos, to the airport in Lagos, to the seaport in Lagos. And we are talking about, we are encouraging exportation. If people cannot take out their products to the seaport, to the airport, to the market and everything, so why are they producing for in the first instance? It's so pathetic. It's so sad. I'm not blaming this present administration, but I believe, in terms of what is production in the first place, what is production? What are the factors that aid production? Is it not land, capital, entrepreneur, and labor? Now you have the land in Ota. You have everything in Ota. So what are you doing to kind of encourage these things? We are not even saying, if maybe they are looking at our worried people as people that they shouldn't be doing anything for. But what about the industries that is generating all these funds for you? What about all these people that you are collecting all the taxes from? If you are doing anything for them, the crumbs that fall from what they are doing for the industries will definitely come to us in Ota. Now, when COVID-19 came.
Yeah, that was very, very, very touching. Listening to the High Chief talking about what has happened on that road. And when he said he invites them, the people in government, the governor, don't even fix, just come and see for yourself. That was the high point.
Yeah, that was the high point.
He said, don't fix it.
Just come and see for yourself.
I'm not saying come and fix it.
Come and see for yourself. That is if your deputy has not been seeing it.
If your deputy hasn't seen it.
or if he has not
the
been
majority
talking
leader
about
has
it.
not seen it and has not spoken about it. You just come by.
In fact, the minority leader of the house is from that town.
Again.
Yeah.
And very honestly, Tomisin, it's better they start doing some certain things now, else they will regret it when they are no more there.
Yes.
If someone had told Pastor Olusegun Obasanjo, former president, that he will be in Ota and Ota will still be his hub, I don't think he would believe it. But look at the road right now.
But you know that he loves his people.
And that's why he didn't do the road.
No, he doesn't leave.
And then you see why I want to agree with
There's
the high
a presidential.
why I want to agree with the high chief.
I know.
He made a
When
point
it comes to farm.
that it all looks
Yes.
like it all looks like a conspiracy against Ota and Awori land. You know, because
It's like a punishment.
not even not yet a punishment, but to deliberately and mischievously bring the industries from Ota and then
Take them to Abeokuta.
take them to Abeokuta.
But does that make sense? No, now look
Yeah,
at it.
it will make a sense to them because I
think
see.
so.
Yeah.
It's a border town. They will go to Ghana. People are already going to Ghana. We're complaining that they're going to Ghana.
Because I see no reason.
We need to retain
I see
our
no reason
industries.
where you will have industries paying taxes and deliberately you are not going to give
Make
them a good road.
infrastructure.
And then you will go to Abeokuta, to Ijebu, and then tar
Streets.
a street
My brother.
with good drainage system.
See, hello sir, when you
With
pass,
good Itele, Ojuore,
Thank you.
toll gate, Yanoyesi, there is no road in Ota. Nothing.
Temidire,
And then there's no road.
it's all messed up. Now, let me shock you. If you pass Winners and you pass Chelsea, can you count how many companies are on that road? Factories.
Then go
They are
inside the
uncountable.
industrial estate. Uncountable.
All over Poli.
Functional.
You know the all over Poli.
Functional.
So many,
But-
very
but-
functional.
But
They produce nylon, they produce plastics.
we have May and Baker there.
Yes,
A
they're
pharmaceutical
all
company.
there.
You know, just talk about the big industries in Nigeria.
They're on
You
that
see
road.
them there. You see them
Because
in
I
Ota.
know that Agbara is also on that. And
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm asking the question, why exactly will we abandon
So many
such a
factories are on
community?
Agbara
So
Road.
we are once again calling on the Ogun State government to please see to the plight of the people of Ota, Awori land. This road is beneficial to Lagos and Ogun State, but it's in Ogun State and they pay taxes to Ogun State. I mean, that's the economic hub. The way we have economic hub in Lagos, that's the economic hub of Ogun State. Can never be Abeokuta, I'm sorry to say, because looking at it, Abeokuta is a traditional educational community.
A civil servant
community. It's like turning Ijesha land into an industrialized state. It doesn't make sense because I grew up in Ijesha land and I know that Ijesha land has always been a school, educational market, and it's the place of the intellectuals. That's what we do there. There's a library, you can go. But when you talk about places where the banks are, you know, they go to say Oshogbo, and that's why struggling to say let's be the state capital.
Yeah.
It sounds funny in a way. Ife is known for what it is. Ota is also known. That's the same way communities are known for what they are.
Tomisin.
Focus on Ota and do something for the people there because they did vote for you.
Yeah.
That's the truth. They did vote to put the government in power.
And before I forget, if you go from Sango under the bridge, as if you're going to Ifo, can you remember
Yeah.
how many
The Papalanto
banks
road.
are on that
Yes.
road?
Yes.
So many banks. As a matter of fact, that road hubs more banks than
Yes.
any other road I've seen from the Iyanopaja all the way to the toll gate.
Because they
And then when you are coming from
have more
Abeokuta, you
banks.
want to enter Ota. You don't want to go through Sango. You go through Joju.
Forget about that road.
Joju is just
It's dead.
is dead. I don't know why government are just. I don't know. There is no single road that
So
is
you
more
can't-
tolerable.
now-
The only road that we have in Ota that the government boasts of is the Command Ikola road.
which was not.
Now
That's
the
the
question
Lagos
is, the
That's
question
Lagos.
the question is, how then do you get to Ikola when you are living?
You
in
can't
Ota?
get there because the roads are bad.
Because the roads are bad. You have to, if you are coming from Italy, you have to go through Italy to pass Ikola. If you are coming from Joju, you have to go through. If you are coming from Ujore, you have to go through. If you are coming from Ilogbo, you have to go through that road to get to Ikola.
So you get to a bad road, you navigate the bad
You
road,
navigate
dance
to
in the
bad
bad
road.
road, dance in the water,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, and then you get to the
You
good
get
road.
to the good road.
I remember during the national population census, I was in the country, and I was posted to check on the workers around Ilogbo. So when you said
Ilogbo,
I remember I covered the workers there, and when I went there to see the people counting and the staffs doing the job, I almost cried. The depth of that street is so far. When you go through Coca-Cola is what?
Coca-Cola is
So when you go through that road all the way
you
down,
have Nestle, you have Honda.
I just
all
gave
the
up.
just
major
name.
companies
I
are there.
just see. I just
And then you
gave up.
can just deliberately ignore that.
Sir,
it
I
looks
had to
deliberate.
leave my SUV
It
and
looks
take a
deliberate.
bike.
It
There's
looks
no way to get
deliberate
there.
because
There's no way.
it looks deliberate to me because I see no reason why that place should be ignored. That is a side issue of Ogun State.
We
Very
are
true.
privileged.
Yeah.
We
Ogun State
available.
should be making so much money and getting so much revenue.
Yeah,
Tomisin,
that is where they are getting their revenue.
I want to become the ghost special advisor to the governor of Ogun State.
Okay.
So that I can start giving him information. The ghost until they confirm. So if he's watching, he needs to know more. Then we need to talk to him. We need to let him know, because people will not celebrate you for the office you occupied, but the things you did while you occupied that office. So if you think people are going to give you credence for being the governor, and then after you're being governor, you're going to be celebrated, you're joking. People will keep track on you for the things you have done while you were in
And they'll
power.
be able to pinpoint. People remember
And
Governor Raji Fashola today.
the deputy
for some of the
governor,
things he did.
Yes, that's true.
And they keep mentioning. I still had a
And
conversation.
even
like
though
this.
he was the minister for power and people complained to some extent, some of us still love him.
Yes, now we
because
keep
of what he
mentioning the
did.
things he did in Lagos. People remember Fashola and they keep mentioning.
do you know the deputy governor, she's by profession an engineer also.
Wow.
Azeem, I need to let you go. So that's it on our community report for this morning, and we hope that the government of Ogun State will heed our call and please see to the situation of the entire Ota Awori axis. This place is bringing so much revenue, and attention must be paid to it. You cannot give people power. There is no power. There is no water. But at least motorable roads is the least that they could ask for. I want to celebrate once again Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for the roads that he did in Ojokoro. I had to pass through Ojokoro a couple of days ago, and it just did me. I felt happy. When I was telling the Uber driver that was going to take me there, I said, I know the road. I know there are back roads, and I can tell you that the back roads are motorable and very good. The guy said, I can't go. I called another Uber driver. The guy took me, and you cannot imagine. Motorable roads, good roads all the way. We went through the entire axis, and I just had fun driving on the road. It made me feel good that at least those roads that used to be impassable in Lagos and they were in no-go area, somebody came there, and the governor came to the call of the people and put structures in place and put infrastructure there. And now we have motorable roads. We need that kind of action in Ota axis, Sango, the entire Ikola axis, the entire Yanoyesi area, just for this governor to come see to this. So Prince Akwabiodun, we're begging, we're pleading, we're calling on you to please see to this matter with immediate effect. Thank you so much, Azeem, for joining me this morning. Sorry you have to go and dance on the road again before you go back to Ota. It's a good idea. It's the work of
We suffer it on a daily basis.
Yeah, on a daily basis.
Enjoy it. I wish you people all the best.
You are coming there very soon.
All right, we'll take another break. When we come back this time around, these two men this morning, having a combination of these two young men with me in the studio is something else. All right, I'll take a break. When I come back, we're talking about something. I saw something on Agbo's blog on Instagram yesterday, and I said to myself, the man was talking about saving culture. But we'll talk about that when we come back.
Want access to all your favorite local and international shows wherever you go? Here's how. Head to showmax.com and click Try for free for 14 days. Enter your email and create password. Choose your plan and payment method that suits you and start watching. You just opened up a whole new world of non-stop entertainment. Stream online or download the Showmax app to watch on your mobile or tablet, anywhere, anytime. Visit showmax.com now.
Yes, welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast Show. We're talking about a saving culture, and I saw this particular post yesterday. I said on Advo's blog, and when I saw it, it occurred to me that this is something that is worthy of being discussed. And this is hard conversations. Remember, we usually do this every Friday. Just talk about issues that you and I relatively feel is very insignificant. Now, on this particular one, Advo simply said, saving money is the biggest challenge with us Africans. You save a little, and next thing you hear is grandma swallowed the razor.
Send
something. I'll take that again. Saving money is the biggest challenge with us Africans. You save a little, next thing you hear is grandma swallowed razor. Send something. How difficult it is. How difficult is it meant to be to save? We were listening to Pastor Samadieni this morning and talking about saving, and he just mentioned something very germane, that if you do not have the mindset to save, even if it is 10, 5, 20%, you're a fool. Because it means you're eating everything that you have. And first of all, I like Agbo. Because it looks as if there is just one spirit. You know the way we justify these things? There is one spirit that follows money.
Yeah.
Every time you make money, there is something that just says,
and that's
spend me.
Parkinson's law.
Spend me. And you find it so difficult to set aside 5 naira or 500 naira. It just looks to you like, and the one that pains me the most is when you hear people say, the money is too small to save. And I say, hey.
True.
How do children do it? You give them 3 naira in coins. I remember those days when we were growing up. Somebody comes to the house, gives you 5 naira, gives you coins. We had a bowl that we're keeping. You just throw it there. You keep throwing. We had kolo. You carry it. The more you shake it, the more you feel that your money is there. It makes you feel good. That's the way you should be checking.
Because as a kid, you don't have demands. You don't have temptations.
But when you check your bank account, that's the way you should be feeling good too. Even if the money there is very tiny. It's very tiny.
People need to cultivate the discipline of spending less than they earn. And in this part of the world, we have a system whereby when one person makes it, everyone plunges on them. And that's why some of our politicians are not doing as much as we expect. Because instead of spending time investing in the community and trying to make the community better, family members are thronging them. I need 50 million. I need a house. I need this. So they have to steal to fit in. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. But if we need to save, we must first of all discipline ourselves. And this is very, very important. Self-discipline is everything. I remember the message by Sam Adeyemi. He said, if you want to be financially free, you must spend less than you earn. you must spend less than you
You must
earn.
be deliberate about it. But is it that that grammar has swallowed the reason?
It means that there's a problem again.
But is somebody was telling me again last week. He said to me that he's in the US. He said between November last year and this time this year, that was last week, he has sent to Nigeria over 10 million naira.
It's possible.
And I said, how? Are you building a house? He said, no.
There are people living large on them.
He
And
said
even if he was building a house,
he
are
pays
you sure
school
they were
fees.
building it? That's another story entirely.
He said because he pays school fees for people. There are some people he pays their school fees. There are other people that he just gives money, upkeep. He said issues just kept coming up. Somebody had to do a surgery. He had to send money. And I asked him, are you saving? How many hours do you work in a day? He said sometimes 12, 13, 14 hours. Do they know that you're working that hard?
They have no idea.
They have no idea.
Let me tell you, Tomisin, I've been in that shoes. So when you are abroad, the only thing that comes to their mind is he's abroad, he has money. Even when you don't have the money. There was a time I didn't have so much outside the country, so I did 100,000 to a family member. That was all I had at that time. I think I had maybe 10,000 or 20,000 left in my account. The person wasn't grateful. The person felt like 100,000 from Precious. I said, how? It broke me because I knew what I was going through. And then the stigmatization on Nigerians abroad at that time was high. How much more now that Hush Puppy has been arrested and the other related puppies involved in cybercrime? It's giving Nigerians bad name. So when it's painful when you get to the point
people
of
are hustling and you are making money
struggling to give people, and yet you see what breaks me. And this is my New Year resolution. If you want to help somebody right now, and I'm saying this to everyone who they see as a pillar in a family or a breadwinner or something, I'm not saying you shouldn't give people money, but make them responsible for that money. So I'll tell you, like I was sharing with you the other time, I'll tell you, I want to see your business plan. The money you're asking me to give you, I want to invest it in your business. How much percentage are you going to give me every month? What is my return on investment? Go and do it. If you are disciplined enough to do the calculation, I'll give you the money. But most of them, it ends at the discussion point. So if you are not disciplined enough to do that, how will you be disciplined enough to save that money? And then do you know, you spend money that you did not work for anyhow, the money you have labored for.
But do you also know that people earn their salaries, right? They get their salaries at the end of every month. And the moment it comes in, expenses are already lined up.
True.
So if you get a promotion, this is what I think people are not familiar with. If you get a promotion, the things you will spend, the additional funds that will come with that promotion on, they're already waiting for you.
Will automatically surface.
That is when you will remember that you had eye problem before. And if you can get the glasses for 3,000 naira, you suddenly remember that your status is past 3,000 naira.
And the frame needs a better one.
And the frame needs to be better. So you now get a frame of 15,000 and then do a glasses of 10,000. That's when you know that the doctor who has been attending to you all your life is no longer professional enough to get to you. You look for the hospitals of the people of your caliber. I think it's the perceived mentality of an important and I'm superior. Is that complex?
In Africa we have what you have a very great point there. In Africa we have what we call mutual impoverishment, cooperating with one another to remain permanently poor. It's the crab mentality. Somebody said if you throw 10 crabs, somebody said if you throw 10 crabs in the bucket, none will come out. You know why? They keep dragging the legs of the other and then they all keep falling down. In Africa, when one person rises, we all rise to the demand. Oh, give me this. And when you do, they praise you. Funnily enough, the day you say I don't have, you are the enemy of the family. They will castigate you, they will insult you. I remember I had a family member who wanted to pay a school fees, and I was paying the fees. I was out of the country, I was paying the fees. And it got to a time I said, I want to see your OND result before I pay your HND admission, whatever, the process for your admission. Let me see the OND result. She didn't bring it. And I said, I won't pay. And then she called my dad and went to report on my money. And my dad was like, you have to pay this money. You just have to help her. God has blessed you, so help her. And I was like, sir, I said I want to see a result for what I'm paying for before I make that payment. And I'm not going to pay it. Can I shock you? My dad paid with his money and said, if you don't want to pay, I'll pay.
So he paid.
That he paid. And this is the funny part of the story.
She never went to school.
You knew. She never went to school. She
I can just
never went
imagine.
to school. She left school the same. My dad had to call me and say, I'm sorry, son. I should have listened to you. He paid. I regretted paying for it. So what are we talking about in a nutshell?
So
sometimes
so she was collecting school fees.
she never went to the
money
school.
for handouts, money for examination. Wow.
Have you not seen the
You're
one
a
school?
manga.
Have you not? And it's so painful that these people don't really think that there'll be a time where the person you call breadwinner may not have as much bread
To give out.
He may not even have enough for himself. Some people who do this are selfless. I've been in a shoe where I used to tell some people that when you get to a point where what you have is not enough, give it out. And that's what
That's
I
exactly
do.
what I do too.
When what I have is not enough,
That's when I
give it
give.
out. If I'm believing God,
I take everything I have and I just sow it.
if I'm believing God to have a mansion and the money I have cannot do that, I can pay for somebody's rent and believe in my heart that that good I have done will come back to me. You see, life is a seed. What you make happen for one, God will make happen for you. But in the same vein, you must understand the principle of saving. Because at times, not everybody you give, you will have returns for. There are some people, God is actually behind their suffering because He's trying to teach them wisdom.
A lesson.
So by the time you go give them money, you frustrate God's plan for their life. And then you think God will bless you for giving them. Because at the end of the day, they are not grateful. The minute you give to them, when you turn your back, they insult you.
For giving them little.
I remember the story of one of our seasoned bishops who said his driver gave somebody 10 naira. And the beggar looked at the 10 naira and looked at the jeep and looked at the driver and said, me, you, 10 naira. He said he told the driver, take that 10 naira back. Take it back. And he took the money back. But the beggar restrained and refused. So what's my point? People who want help, at the end of the day, you
Why
check
do you
and you
want help?
They
And then
really
you
want
place
it.
a caveat, you place a demand.
Have you ever seen the professional beggars? They tell you,
so
I just need 5,000.
I'm about to read some messages right now. So I get these messages and they really baffle me. So somebody sends me a message, okay, and the person says to me that I'm waiting for you, ma, come and help me. And the next thing I get is, even if it is 5,000.
That's exactly what I was trying to paint now.
You know, I keep asking myself. I said, the first time I got the message, because I'm trying to see this one.
Tomisin, if you go on my Instagram inbox, it is full. I was talking to a comedian, Taoma, recently, and
okay, so now
I
found it. So this one says, my name is Kayode. I'm sorry for all this time, for all this man. You know what is going on in the country? Please, going on in this Nigeria. I need your help, ma. Sorry, there's nothing I can do for now. Please bear with me. I responded. He now said, okay, please, if it is 5,000 naira, and I pray the Lord will help you, ma, as you help.
So to him, he feels 5,000 is nothing.
It's small. So he sent another one the same day. He sent first in the afternoon, the same day. Sent, please help me with money. Then sent another one. I take God, beg you, help me, man. And then the next day sent, I don't know where to go, please help me. If it is just 5,000 naira.
Again?
Yes. I will be okay. God will provide for you, man. Amen. Then the next time in the evening, he sent me another one. Kayode, please help me. And he sent, please, again, 1 hour later, my name is Kayode, I take God, beg you, help me. And then he sent another text message.
I will reply in my
2
text
hours
and
later.
beg you.
I'm the one that called you right now because he was calling and he was texting. He was calling, and this is 1 out of like 200 messages that I get sometimes.
It's terrible. Tomisin, do you know?
And I just wonder why you would tell me, even if it is 5,000.
Let me give you a statistic.
So
on
your
that.
begging even has a degree.
Let me give you a statistic on that. If my salary is 100,000 in a month, and I'm able to give you 5,000 that month, it means I've given you 5% of my sweat.
No, it means that you worked for the person.
I worked for the person.
At least 2 days of that month. You dedicated your entire
and the
work.
appreciation
went
is
to
not
work
commensurate. It's so heartbreaking at
Even
times.
if they don't appreciate it. What my question is, if you now give out 5,000, let's take out the fact that you have to pay PHCM bill of 20,000, and you have to feed your family with say 40,000. Your transport fare to work is about 30,000. So 30 plus 20 plus 40 is what? Already gets to 90,000.
90,000.
And
So
you're going to,
10.
you believe in paying tithes.
And if you're a Christian,
so you pay
tithes.
tithes 10%, which is
What's
already
left?
10,000. How do you say it?
So when they see your family looking good, they say you are a bad person. And you see, the problem I have with doing these things is the time you don't do, oh my
You now
goodness,
become a bad person.
You become the talk of the town. But when you're doing, you are
Everybody's
celebrating.
praising you.
And that mentality should go. And in Africa, we also have this thing where the one who is doing is the one that should talk. So when there's a family meeting, the one who
Regardless
doesn't
of
have,
the age of the
they
person.
shut him up. They shut him up and say, shut up, let the one with the money talk.
Because it's the one that has,
Yes,
it's the
and
one
it's-
that will bring the money.
It's so devastating. One of my mentors says, when it's time to speak in cash, don't speak in tongues. They don't even want to hear you. He say, shall we pray?
I have an uncle that doesn't like to go for family meetings. He doesn't even go. So when he will tell all of the people and say, do the meeting. So when they're done, so for example, my father died and he was going to be buried, and all of the people from the village and everybody came to the house, and they were giving instructions. The first child, you are the first child. Tomisin, your first child. You're meant to do this, do this. So they made a very long list of things that as the first child are meant to do, and then they made a long list of what the last one is meant to do, and then they said, okay, so the rest of them can just. These are not food related things. So when they were done with a long list of things, my uncle called. He was out of the country then. So he said something like, okay, so you guys have done the meeting. So what was the outcome? So they told him what they told me. He said, our daughter, you gave her that much load. Told me, say, how much is the money? He said, I don't know yet. He said, okay, send your account number. I would pay this amount of it. Then you can balance it out by yourself. Everyone who gave instruction, none of them dropped 5 kobo. Well, you know, when we were not having a conversation, when he came back tonight, he said, I don't get it. They gave you all of these many things to do, and none of them could say, take 5 naira to do it.
It's sad.
So it doesn't go for family meetings. When they have all this family one, he just tells them, okay, so what, if he's going to do it, he just says, I'm dropping this, and he walks away. In fact, sometimes it's a phone conversation. Just sends a text message. You're having the meeting, when people get there, let me know what they're saying, blah, 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 you know. He just drops it.
Do you know, Tomisin, there are people watching us
And
right now.
I told him, I said, you're going to become a bank.
Tomisin,
Stop it.
there are people watching us right now. They were once in that shoes of giving out, but right now they don't have anything
To give.
to give. I
And
tell
the people who used to
you
collect
helped.
from you have become richer
disregard,
than you.
and then they disregard. Not even about richer.
No, sometimes they become richer.
They disregard. They
Yes.
ignore you. They forget about you.
They even forget that
They
you
can't
ever
even
helped
come
them.
back to pay homage. And you see, what breaks my heart is when you start spending your capital on people.
Rather than saving it.
That's why I call that mutual impoverishment. We are cooperating with one another to remain
make
permanently poor. It's terrible.
At what point do you draw the line? Yes, help people. Yes, be very
But do it
helpful.
with sense.
But do it with sense.
That's
what
why.
Samadi
That's
Yemi
what.
would say.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Make them draw a proposal. Tell me this money I'm not giving you. I'm investing. So you're going to sign an undertaking.
As a matter of fact, at the end of 3 months, I begin to get my return.
Yes, I need to get a return. I want to invest in your company. We sign documents. Even if you're not going to take them to court, they will become serious.
Because you know that you're going to hold them to ransom.
I have heard of a young man who gave his brother 5 million to start business. And guess the first thing the brother bought? You
A
can
Jeep.
tell. A Jeep. from 5 million.
We need to go on the Bumper Breakfast Show today. We'll be talking about saving culture, and the ultimate thing that we're saying to you this morning is no matter how small your income, put something aside. Don't spend everything. Don't eat your money. Don't eat your income. Don't eat your capital. Don't eat your savings. And while you're not eating your savings, make sure you don't scatter too much of your wealth, no matter how small it is. My name is Tomisin.
And on the final note, I would say learn, earn, invest so you can harvest. My name is Dr. Precious. You can catch me on Instagram at Dr. Precious Uwas.
See you again tomorrow. Yes, there's still going to be so much happening in MITV. So keep watching MITV. And remember, you can advertise on the show